What's up, you guys? I'm Dan. This is Frugal Not Cheap, and today we'll do a tour and review of the NerdWallet personal finance app. So I've been doing a little series of reviews on personal finance apps because Mint is going away here in early 2024, and so people are left looking at other options. I've recently reviewed Monarch Money, also Simplifi by Quicken, and then in the past I did a review of Rocket Money, and then I've also got kind of an overview from 2022. And once we finish this series, I'll of course be going over where I see the landscape here at the beginning of 2024. With Mint having been a very popular free option for tracking our personal finances, makes sense to look at another free option, which today is NerdWallet. Without further ado, let's jump into the tour. So here we are logged into my NerdWallet, and so they have this little personal finance app. I think you can see based on just how much blank space there are on both sides that this is really meant to be kind of more mobile friendly. I think that's the theme that we'll see a lot here with the NerdWallet app. But when you first sign in, it first offers to pull up your credit score by pulling up your report through TransUnion, so they're partnered with them. I did that, and many times in the sign-up process, it asked me for my phone number to do a verification code. I guess like each different provider needed that, so it was kind of a pain to do. But anyway, so I did that, and I got my TransUnion credit score populated in here. And then the next thing it did, of course, was ask me to link my accounts. And NerdWallet uses Plaid as their partner. So if you have accounts that don't link through Plaid, then you'll be out of luck with NerdWallet. But the ones that I tried, which were Merrill Lynch, even though, yeah, if I've got a Merrill Edge account, but that didn't work, I got an error. And so instead I had to go through and log in through Merrill Lynch, and then that worked just fine. And then I also linked some Capital One accounts and also an account at Charles Schwab. So I've linked up basically a checking account, it's a cash management account at Merrill, and then a couple credit cards at Capital One, and then a traditional IRA over at Charles Schwab. And so we've populated a good amount of the data here as well. Right off the bat here, you can see what's called their financial health score. It's giving me a 70 out of 100. I'm not really sure how that is coming up. I think that's kind of weird. But anyway, I just answered their questions, and I guess that's kind of what came up. They say I've got a good debt to income ratio, good credit score, good emergency fund. But I don't know, the retirement planning insurance stuff, it wants more stuff. And then I don't know about this whole saving and debt pay down. I guess it wants me to like save up for like a sinking fund, like basically save up for things that are planned spending, and then debt pay down, but there's no debt to pay down, thank goodness. So I don't know. Anyway, whatever. But this could be helpful, I guess. I think it's kind of, the metric doesn't seem to be working very well for me, but I don't know. Anyway, let me know if you tried out what you think about this metric. But scrolling down past this metric, and then here we have kind of like our key numbers. So I think this section is pretty cool. And these are sort of the main three, I guess, apps that are built out within NerdWallet. Is we've got cash flow, of course, we're going to have income and spending. Then we've got net worth, so tracking our assets. And then this credit score as well. So that's pretty cool. Again, powered by TransUnion. At the bottom, I do think this is neat. I gotta give them kudos for that. They have these little weekly insights. They call them nerdy insights. And so, it lets us know that we've got my budget, that we've got these transactions at Amazon. It noted this trend in my grocery transactions, apparently, which is cool. Those did go down. I got a gift card from family, so thank you guys for that one. And then we have, of course, the budgeting. So we'll kind of dig more into that as we go. But this is kind of your dashboard. And as you can see here, it's really basic. I think it's really mobile friendly, but the colors are pleasing. Again, a little bit of these pastels seem to be popular these days. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, whatever, it's fine. And then, of course, below that, we have how all of this stuff is made possible. This is how NerdWallet makes their money generally, of course, is through advertising and partnerships, right? So here it's trying to sell us on some different high yield savings accounts that we might look at. And then below that, we've got credit cards as well. And then, of course, there'll be other products too. But let's jump in here and take a look at the cash flow section. So this chart here on the right, I think, is good, where it shows the current month against, the previous month, or you can do against the 3-month average as well. So I think that's pretty neat. This is a good chart that we also saw in Monarch Money, one that we have in Empower as well. So I like that. Here on the left, basically what we're looking at is the income against the spending. And then of course we can tell here in the month of January that the cash in on the accounts that we're tracking here was much smaller than the cash out, whereas we had a little bit more of a balance here in the month of December. But yeah, net out of the accounts that we're tracking here for this purpose. But still, I think it's pretty cool. The graphic is nice and simple, but easy to read, and it gives you what you need, I suppose. Let's take a look at the transactions here. So we have this See All Transactions button. And here is all the spending for the month of February to date. So one thing I have found is some of the UI stuff is a little bit cumbersome. Like this is fine that we can quickly filter down by categories. I think that's quite good actually. But if I want to switch to the month of January, I've got to go back in order to do that. I'm not really sure exactly how I do that. I guess I go to here and then I don't even know how you do that from here. So at least for me, the reporting is a little bit unintuitive. Another thing here is like, okay, so I see all the transactions. I do like that they have these icons for the categories. That's something that I really liked in Monarch Money. I don't like that they're all the same color. So yeah, even though the actual icons are kind of cool, it would help also if they were also in different colors. It would really just kind of make things stand out a little bit more as to what they are. The other thing we don't have here is the daily subtotals. I thought that was a cool feature in Monarch Money as well that we don't have here with NerdWallet. Now, if we want to change the categories, you can see there's not really an intuitive way to do it. You've got to click on a category, and then you can choose to exclude it from the calculations. Don't know why you'd want to do that. And then here's the account, so we could click that and go to that account. And then the place, and I guess we could see like a little mini report for the place, so that's pretty cool. However, if I actually want to change this category, like I could sit here and try to click on it forever and it doesn't work. No, I've got to go here to the edit button, which is fine. It's just an added step, right? So here, income or spending, which is kind of said in this colloquial way, I don't know, whatever, that's fine. And then here are the different categories, which, that's fine as well. Doesn't look like we can make any custom categories. There may be a way, but I haven't seen one. But we have these different categories, and it looks like the auto categorization is so-so. It's not super good, but it's fair enough, I guess. I say that because it knows that this Cafe Brazil is restaurants. But let me see if we go down here. So these Capital One flights, these are flight tickets that I booked. It doesn't know what they are, so I'd have to go in and book this as if it were travel. Right there we go. So not too bad in doing this, now it's categorized properly. But it takes a minute. Why does it think this is services? All right, I guess that's fine. Anyway, so not super intuitive, and as you can see here, the density is really quite low because it's really made to be kind of more mobile friendly or smaller screen friendly for sure. Like you can really shrink all this stuff horizontally quite a bit. Now if we go back here and scroll down a little bit further, we can see what NerdWallet's philosophy is on budgeting. And this is a useful one. It's something that Caleb Hammer, for instance, talks about on his channel a lot, which is breaking up the budget into a percentage of your income that goes towards needs, a percentage that goes towards wants, and then a percentage that goes towards savings and debt. Now, here we have 50% needs, which, seems okay. 30% wants and 20% savings and debt repayment, which, not very aggressive targets to me. I think the wants category is pretty large here. I would personally prefer to have, 10 or 15% wants and the rest savings and debt, or and lower needs. Personally, I'm a lot more aggressive, of course. I'm not as mainstream. But for mainstream advice, this will get you there. It seems okay. But I much prefer to be more aggressive. Anyway, so let's look at that. And of course, we don't have a lot of income here. So the numbers look kind of crazy. Your numbers should look a lot more reasonable when you put in on your accounts. But here it says I'm spending 47% on needs, almost 900% on wants, and 0 on savings and debt. So obviously NerdWallet thinks that I'm being extremely irresponsible and terrible with my money. But it is pretty cool that it has that. And it is also cool that here it shows you what the breakdown is for all the different sort of buckets and categories. So I think this is useful. It is a very different sort of philosophy than what we used to have with Mint and your traditional budgeting, where you track how much your spending target is for each individual category. That's not happening here. It's kind of a more high-level view, where you're just looking at, all right, how much in needs, how much in wants, and how much in savings and debt. And so I think in that way, if you're not as much of a micromanager, that could be, a more relaxed and useful way to look at things. And I do think that there's a place for that. Okay, so let's go back and see what else we have on the app. So we've also got the net worth, and of course there's not a whole lot of data here. It's just got the one data point with the one investment account that I linked here. But it does have a good breakdown. So it's got your investments, that's really actually cash in a money market fund, your retirement accounts, then checking and savings as well. And then of course your credit cards on the other side. So you got your asset side, you got your liability side, and it's going to track that over time for you. And we can look at different time frames, which is nice, but we cannot do custom time frames, which is a little bit unfortunate. So kind of going along with the theme that this is all very simple, basic, and not all that sort of feature rich, but also, still useful, I think. So here we can look at individual things, like we can look at cash, which we don't have any cash accounts linked. It doesn't think. I guess my CMA is a little different. Investments. Here, unfortunately, just like, well, actually, here we can't really see any detail at all on investments. So unlike with Monarch Money, where at least we could see what the different holdings were, here it's just the asset value in investments, and there's nothing at all. So, forget about seeing your asset allocation. It's just really, really basic here. And so that's all we've got with the net worth section. On the credit score section, I don't think there's really all that much to talk about here. It's just got your score on the range, history of your score as well. And then, of course, here is where they're going to generate revenue to fund this endeavor, is by, promoting different credit cards and stuff. And really, that's all there is to the the web-based version of the NerdWallet app. Super basic. It's got kind of the basics, but really not all kinds of bells and whistles. Though again, I do think the 50-30-20 budget is kind of neat. So let's take a quick look at the mobile app next. So here we got the NerdWallet app. You can use biometrics in order to secure it, which is pretty good. And again, just like I talked about how the website really looked like it was kind of mobile oriented, I think you can really get the sense of that here, because this is really just the same widgets actually kind of repackaged, but it is pleasant. Again, these pastel colors seem to be very popular right now, but it looks pretty good. So if we look here at the cash flow section, it looks pretty good. We've got the same charts that we had on the web as well. And then we've got our upcoming bills. I forgot to mention that. Sorry about that. You can set up your upcoming bills in here and keep an eye on them. And I think that's pretty useful. Here is just some fictitious bills that it had kind of for default. And then we do have this month against month cash flow chart here. So that's pretty cool. We can look at a larger version of it as well. So that's quite good. And we can see our top spending categories and transactions. So again, really this is, the web thing and this one, it's all kind of really all the same. But I think because everything is set up to be mobile friendly on the website, then really you can do all of it right here from mobile. And in fact, I think it looks better here on mobile as well, especially because then we can just tab over here to the credit score section. We can tab over to the cash flow section as well, and then over to the net worth. And then of course they have all of the the things they're trying to do in order to generate revenue. I can't blame them. So that's the mobile app. I think the mobile app is quite good, and in fact the ratings for the app are quite strong. Okay, I hope you found that tour of the personal finance app, both on the web browser and on the mobile app, helpful. Here are my thoughts and kind of my review of the NerdWallet app overall. I would say, based on the fact that it is free, that it is definitely a viable option, but not exactly a Mint successor. So whereas Mint was really good in helping you to budget how much you're going to spend on each individual category and had pretty good automatic categorization of transactions, and then also pretty robust reporting as well, except for the investment section. NerdWallet is just a whole lot more simple, and in terms of the budgeting, again, we have that, wants, needs, and savings and debt, kind of just allocating those different percentages. So in a way, it's kind of good for a more casual or sort of less OCD category tracking type of a person. But it is free and it will get the job done. The interface overall it's quite simple. It's especially good, I'd say, on a mobile app, whereas on the desktop, it just looks like there's a whole lot of wasted space and it's not really optimized for that. They really built this thing to work on smaller screens. So in the end, I'd say, as long as you don't care about tracking your investments really carefully, which is the reason why I wouldn't use NerdWallet and instead use Empower, because it's really, really good at that and also free. If you don't care about that, then NerdWallet is definitely a viable option for the free tier. If you're comfortable with having, of course, everything be cloud-based, if all of your accounts are supported by Plaid, so that you can get all that transaction data in there. And especially if you're a mobile-heavy user and you're not on the computer all that much, I think this, is definitely a viable option. There is also, or at least at the time of this filming, there was a free tier of Rocket Money, but I think some of the limitations there included not being able to track net worth, which is something that NerdWallet does, which is nice. And then also the whole cash flow chart, I think that's a really useful thing here in NerdWallet as well. So yeah, it's not a bad option. It's definitely a little bit different from Mint, but I think it's worth giving it a try, especially on the mobile app. Have you tried NerdWallet? Or are there other free options out there that you think are better? Let us know in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.